Hi, I'm Vicki Hamilton, and you're watching CMS TV.
We can't be the first to cover these things because we've traveled touring musicians now for many years, and we've noticed that global events, no matter if it's, conflicts or whatever's popping up, how they're covered differently in different countries. Sometimes in some countries, very differently depending on which channel you're watching. And we don't want to be the victims of propaganda, and we can't have boots on the ground. For us to do something about events that are happening now is like, yes, but not now. Once enough time has passed that impartial historians without skin in the game have looked at it, and books are written, or let's say documentaries have been made. And what is at least I would say, it's weird to say, and there is no such thing as a universal truth, but as long as we're getting closer to that, at that point, absolutely, we'll happily cover it.
Chris Akin presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin. And today on the show, one of the biggest bands in the world today, especially in the world of metal, the band is Sabaton. They have a brand new video called Templars out there. It is fantastic. They're going out on tour beginning in, I think they're beginning in 2 days. Actually, I believe they're getting ready to go out there right now, and we are excited to be talking about Templars. We are excited to find out what else is going on, and who better to tell us what's going on than the vocalist and the main man himself, Joakim Broden. Joakim, how are you, man?
Very good, thanks. And you?
I'm good, man. It's great to talk to you. It's great to talk to you about what's coming. I mean, before I even get into the music, I have to ask you, man, did you ever see the success that you're having coming? Because outsider looking in, and I'll be honest, as an outsider looking in, you tell me, well, we're going to get a triumphant metal band singing about the Crusades and the great wars of time. I never would have said, you know what, that's going to be a big band.
No, actually, no. We had no idea. It might seem like a grand master plan when you look at the tank-shaped drum risers, all the effects and the pyro and the stage clothes. But all of these were solutions to problems or happy accidents. I mean, I was about to say it wasn't very long ago, but yeah, it was. It was a quarter of a century ago, 25 years ago. We were drinking beer, listening to Judas Priest, Painkiller, and Keeper of the Seven Keys with Halloween,
right,
and all of these things, and dreaming of maybe one day we get to play on Wacken. And then we did, and then another 10 years later we're headlining Wacken, and
right.
Yeah, so now all of these things sort of came naturally. So it's not like we came out of nowhere, but I'm happy. I mean, I wouldn't change very much at all, actually.
Sure. Was there a turning point somewhere as you guys have risen? Was there a specific show or a specific album that you put out where you said, oh, wow, this is different than what we thought?
Yeah, but I mean, that's going to be different for every country. We never had a global jump, really. But we saw already with Art of War, we did the song 40 to 1, which is about the Battle of Wisna. And we went from, let's say, 300 people in Poland to 2,000 people in Poland, which is percentage-wise, pretty big increase for us back then. And then in 2012, when we did Carolus Rex, album about the Swedish Empire, 100 years, in the early 1600s to the early 1700s. And just for fun, we thought we recorded it in Swedish and English, but we thought every Swedish person is going to be preferring the English version anyway. We were wrong. Very, very wrong. Even radio started playing the Swedish versions. So that was a big step in Sweden. And we've had those things, events like that coming and going. But we never had a global point where, we went
Right.
skyrocketing overnight, really.
Sure. It is fascinating, though, to watch this style, and I'm not going to compare you to this band I'm going to mention, other than the fact that you guys are dealing with kind of historical stuff. It's amazing to watch the rise of both Sabaton and Amon Amarth, who
Yeah.
obviously they do the Viking thing, but same thing. They're telling realistic stories as well, and both bands are just skyrocketing, man. It's really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I really like those guys, both personally and musically, because it's like they were my sort of gateway into harder music.
Okay.
I'm not a regular listener of death or black metal at all, but those were the sort of the first ones that I liked of the harder school music, actually.
Right on. Well, Joakim, let's talk about what you've shared so far and what you're probably going to share with us in the future. I'm imagining Templars, the song. If it's possible for a song to be more epic than what you've already given people, this is it. What a giant song, and of course it keeps to the theme, talking about the Knights Templar, and it's a huge sound, it's a huge single. So talk about that and talk about what resonated with you at writing this theme versus, some of the stuff in the past.
Oh, well, I think the idea of doing a song about the Templars has been with us for many, many years now. I mean, we have a pile. I mean, yeah, not everybody's going to watch the video here. So why am I just, why am I, yeah. Let's just say we have lots. I mean, over the years, what we've come across ourselves, me and Pat put, if we watch a documentary, read a book, we'll put that in the for later pile. But also over the years, we've gotten so many mails from fans with fantastic stories that we wouldn't have heard about otherwise. So our for later pile is massive by now. But there's a few events, battles that's always in the back of your head, and Templar certainly was one of those. And I think it was summer of 23, so yeah, almost 2 years ago when I started writing music for the upcoming album. And I think I wasn't very far into the music composition at all. Let's say I was 2 hours in and I already knew that this is it. This is the Templar track,
Right. That's great. Well, and then you have this huge video. I mean, this is a anybody that likes videos, this is a great video. You filmed it in a Serbian fortress, is that correct?
Two different ones. The interior one is filmed in Belgrade.
Okay.
So we were in two different locations over 2 days. But yeah, big production. Lots of extras you need with a battle scene like that. And
sure.
The Serbian reconstruction group, they do a lot of historical reenactments and stuff like that. Called the White Eagles, where they're helping us out. Great guys.
Sure.
Funny. And we had a good time because, I mean, it was about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And we had the Templar coats and we had the armor. And then what most people don't really think about is like you have armor under the armor to protect you from the armor.
Right.
And these guys take this very seriously. So they had these medieval armors. It's all historically accurate. So we have, padded wool under all of that. And then going into battle at 100 degrees. That was brutal. I was very happy to die first and fast.
Nice. Joakim, I'm curious for you and I mean for the band, I guess, but how important is going out to somewhere like these two fortresses, going to an actual place and shooting? Because I mean, today's world, you could have easily put up some green screen somewhere and done it that way. Does it influence kind of the performance to actually be in something a little more authentic?
It's the album that shocked the world, Judas Priest's Turbo. In 1986, when heavy metal embraced the glam of hair metal, Judas Priest followed suit, unleashing Turbo. It divided fans, rocked MTV, and sparked controversy that still echoes today. In Cause and Effect Turbo, Chris Akin dives deep into the making of this polarizing album, sharing insider stories and personal memories from that explosive era. Whether you loved it or you hated it, Turbo left its mark on heavy metal history. Relive the controversy. Get your copy now at chrisakin.net or on Amazon.
It does. It's more fun for sure. But I mean, we've utilized green screens before and will in the future as well. But it depends on the video and is it economically possible to do? Because I think in many cases it gets a different look when it's real. And when it's possible to do it, we will happily do it. But there have been situations where, you know, visuals aren't by any realistic budgetary constrictions, you know, possible, like we did for Bismarck, for example.
Right.
Where, yeah, how do we revive the Bismarck? Should we rebuild a replica and, you know, ship full size and ship it out to sea? And certain things like that. So I'm not against green screens at all, but in a sense, yes, I prefer the real thing, because then it becomes a trip. And it's, I mean, we've done green screen before, and it's not as fun to do. I mean, the result might be good sometimes, but doing it that way is way less fun compared to what we did for Templars or Christmas Truce, for example. I mean, we were in the Czech countryside where there was a whole team who'd spent a week and a half building a system of trenches, and everything was really standing there. And I mean, it also, I think a lot of people, well, some people who are in the industry might realize, you know, music or film, but it's much easier for us. I mean, we're not good actors to begin with, but it's easier for us because we're interacting with real things.
Right.
It looks better. You know, if you're supposed to be desperate screaming or something, and you just have to do that in a room with lights in thin air, it's hard. But if you're in a trench, you have stuff to grab onto, you have dirt to dig into, all of these things. And for us who are pretty shitty actors, to be honest, or it helps.
Right. No question. Well, from what the press has been saying, Joakim, Templars was the first song written for the album. Does this set the tone for what we can expect from you? I mean, is the whole, and I feel even weird asking this question, but I'm going to ask it.
Yes,
is
sir.
this whole release, the new record, going to be this much bigger and this much more epic than even your past work?
We're gonna have to wait and find out. I have been told not to reveal too much, but I can tell you that we are actually finally in the stages of finalizing the plans of all the releases of more singles and album, and obviously the powers that be want all that to sync up and come together. But yeah, well, let's just say Sabaton has never been about less is more.
Right.
But maybe not every track is gonna be up there, because I mean, in a sense, it would be boring as well if an album only had, you know, all in massive. But yeah, I mean, as we get bigger, we can go closer and closer to our vision. And I mean, a subject like the Templars, I mean, only singing about them in obviously a military context, how is that a minimalist song?
Sure.
It isn't, you know. So, I mean, it depends on the subject, certainly. But a lot of the topics we're covering on the upcoming album aren't minimalist by nature.
Right.
Without
definitely.
spoiling too much, you know.
Right. For you guys, and I guess this is probably mostly you as the primary writer of the music, is there like a time limit, I guess, on what you won't write about? Like, you know, I mean, you obviously write about epic times and epic war times. Would you write about stuff that's like on actual video, World War II or Korean Wars or, you know, stuff like that? Or do you try to keep it pre-Candid camera, I guess.
No. We have a lot of World War II. We even have Vietnam. We have got a lot. But I think our line is sort of, at least something we've realized in later years, is like, we can't be the first to cover these things because we've traveled for, touring musicians now for many years. And we've noticed that global events, no matter if it's, conflicts or whatever's popping up, how they're covered differently in different countries. Sometimes in some countries, very differently depending on which channel you're watching. And we don't want to be the victims of propaganda, and we can't have boots on the ground. So, for us to do something about events that are happening now is like, yes, but not now. Once enough time has passed that impartial historians without skin in the game have looked at it, and books are written, or let's say documentaries have been made, and what is at least I would say, it's weird to say, and there is no such thing as a universal truth, but as long as we're getting closer to that, at that point, absolutely, I will happily cover it. But it's important to remember, that we are not experts. We're very, very passionate about history.
Sure.
And we probably read and forgot more about history than the average Joe on the street. However, we are really amateurs compared to the real experts.
Sure.
And we sort of have to rely on them for the source material. We can't just go on, watch what's going on in the news and be affected by that, because that story might be told very, very differently in a different country. Sometimes it takes a long time as well, whereas both military analysts, historians, and even maybe not to events today, but even if we're looking at history, an archaeological find that's like coming up now could change history as we know it about military events.
Sure. Do you find that it's harder to find true information just because the world itself is kind of manipulating information in some ways? It seems like history itself is being changed by the perceptions of today. Does that make it harder for you to find accurate information to write from?
Yes and no. Because we are looking at stuff that's been covered by proper, trusted historical experts already. And having done this for such a long time now, we can... many authors we would know, we can check their credentials. It's very easy these days. We can't just judge. We can see like a degradation. It sounds weird to say a degradation of the quality on Wikipedia, because that some of these things are very, hot topics, and people are going in trying to edit at all times. But in general, no, it's not too tricky. Especially, in many cases, if we make an album, the best history books might have been written, anything from 5 to 50 or 100 years ago sometimes.
Right, sure. Well, let's move away from history for a minute. Let's get to the business of things. You obviously have a new record label that you're working with, Better Noise Music. What was it about them? They obviously have a lot of big name bands. What was it about them? Was it just the fact that they work on the next level, or was there something specifically or somebody specifically that made you feel like they were the right fit for Sabaton?
Well, it was a mix, I think. Not to say anything bad about Nuclear Blast.
Sure.
It felt like, even though I love the guys, it felt like we sort of hit the limit of that organization in some ways. And even though there are people who would have been able in the organization who would have loved to take it to the next step, there's also the thing that what are they allowed to do by the powers that be, their masters, if you will.
Sure.
And in this case, a partner who can help us go to the extra step, and then Dan, for example, from Better Noise, intelligent and also has a genuine interest in these things, we saw it pretty fast. I mean, Pat is the one who's been dealing mostly with them, but coming out to shows when we were touring, talking, and also having realistic expectations, not making false promises, sign here and you'll be a rock star, stuff, stupid shit like that. But also, you could tell that he had done his sort of homework regarding the band and the band's history.
Okay.
A genuine interest. So, combination of him and the other people we met, of course, they were all nice. We had a big meeting in the US in about a year ago or something like that.
Okay.
They came to a show, which was really nice, when we were playing with Priest. And in the end, it comes down to how future-proof do we think they are? How good is the deal? And then also a good amount of gut feeling,
Sure.
And I think they came out pretty much on top of all three. So we figured, hey, if it's the time to move, it's time to move now.
Sure.
Welcome to the ultimate experience for hard rock and heavy metal fans. Introducing the CMS Locals VIP app, your #1 destination for all things on the CMS network. Dive into the classic metal show, Chris Akin Presents, Seth Williams Show, and more, all in one place. It's free to get started or elevate your experience with a subscription for just $4.99 a month. Go commercial free, get advanced releases, and enjoy exclusive bonus episodes. Plus, it's the prime spot to chat with like-minded fans who love raw, uncensored commentary. Are you ready to rock? Download from your iOS or Android store, search for the CMS network, and join the community now. It's free, it's easy, and it's the best way to keep our shows with you every single day. Install the Locals.com app today and follow the CMS network.
Was there any consideration, and I only ask this because I kind of ask everybody this, was there ever a consideration of not going with a label? I mean, A, you guys are a big band. B, you guys are smart guys. As bands go, you guys are a very intelligent group of guys.
That would be our bass player, Pat, not the rest of us.
Well, but what I mean is you guys are, you're smart enough and you've done it long enough to understand the business. You could make a lot of these moves yourself at this point. Was there any consideration of that, or is having a label still a valid piece for a band at Sabaton's level?
Well, it depends on how much you want to be in or outside the industry. We made some calculations and looked at it. I mean, one of them would be sort of to start it up and have your own label, which would add more people. And then, let's say, do licensing to different markets. But then there will be so much, okay, that market wants to do that. That market wants to do that. We made calculations on what a possible sort of Kickstarter campaign could do, where fans could sort of vote with money, sort of, if you know what I mean. Like,
sure.
If we reach this goal, this is what we're going to do. If we reach this goal, this is what we're going to do. And that would probably, weirdly enough, would have given us the most money in the pocket, basically. On the other hand, though, only thinking of hiring people or getting into the nightmare of then sorting out distribution of all the edition, who's going to mail these things? Right. And, when it comes to media, dealing with journalists, who knows these people? Who has this contact network? So even though it might have seemed like going Kickstarter and doing it yourself would have been the move closer to the fans, it could have also alienated us in a way, because that would be a huge commitment on we'd have to, on even though we might have gotten the money, but everything else might have been too tricky. And we also figured that we don't want to be, managers of a record label. We want to be musicians and play music and, have time with families. We want to tour. We want to create music, but doing all the other stuff, which some of it is fun, but I don't want to do it in excess,
Right. Somehow I don't see you in an office with a tie.
No. Funerals. That's the only time I wear a tie.
Right. Same. I get that. Well, man, obviously, you have new music that is out now. You have new music that's coming that we'll find out about, I'm sure, in a few months. And you're touring. What does the rest of this year look like for Sabaton?
Well, we got coming out or out already is now we're in Latin America at the moment, doing that. And after this, we have not a break in the summer. There's a lot to prepare because obviously there's an album coming. I can say that much at least, and there's going to be more singles and music videos coming. After that, Australia, New Zealand, and then we got Moldova, Kazakhstan, and Turkey. And then we're moving off to the legendary tour in Europe. And then let's just say there is going to be not too long after that, there's going to be other places that get Sabaton touring.
Nice.
So we have a very busy, let's say, year ahead of us. And there won't be a lack of releases, shows, and music videos coming from us in the upcoming 12 months.
Right. And you don't have to say which ones if you're not supposed to, but any festival stuff, in festival season this year, or is this kind of the off year between?
The only festival we do this year is Sweden Rock. I forgot to say it, but we do that in early June right after this, actually. But seeing as it's also a thing with promoters, if they have you do a headline concert that year, they don't want to to do festivals that year. So I'm guessing our next summer is going to be, actually it's a year and a half, because next year is going to be pretty intense with festivals as well. So yeah, I guess I know what I'm doing for the next 18 months.
Right. Exactly. Well, I know what we're going to be doing. We're going to be listening to Sabaton for the next 18 months. Obviously you gave us a great head start with Templars, great video, great song. Where's the best place, Joakim, to tell people to actually buy something? We're not telling them to go to Spotify. It's fine if they do, but we'd rather see them actually buy something that helps the band.
If you want to help and support the band, our web shop is run by our people, our employees. So that would be the absolute best way. Sabaton.net, check the merch link. That is overseen by Pat as well. And we usually throw in personalized goodies when we can. So
very good.
And you usually get a magazine as well.
Oh, there you go. Get a bonus. So it's all good stuff. It is Sabaton, of course. One more time, Templars. It is out now. Go watch it 15 or 16,000 times so that they can make a quarter off of it from the various folks at the streaming places. And go buy some stuff. Go to a show. Definitely go to a show if they're anywhere near you. And Joakim, this has been fun as always, man. Thanks for joining me here on Chris Akin Presents.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's Chris Akin from the Classic Metal Show, Chris Akin Presents, and the Seth Williams Show, straight from the uncensored heart of the CMS network. We've just been crowned a certified Rumble creator, and that means we're bringing the heat. All our shows, commercial free, baby. Advance episode drops sometimes months before the normal release, so you're not stuck waiting. You'll get all this plus exclusive content for Rumble Premium subscribers that'll blow your mind. And with Rumble Premium, you'll get every CMS Network show and all of Rumble's other videos with no ads and no fluff. This is our official home, Rumble. It's raw, powerful, and unfiltered. You want in? Just hit us up at rumble.com/register/classic metal show to sign up for free commenting, chat live, and just your ability to join the chaos of all of our shows. Then while you're there, swing by any of our videos, smash that Rumble Premium button, and level up. Subscribe now. Don't sleep on this. Hit the link in the description.